Dear students, in this episode, we are going to discuss on the topic episode of meaning, nature and components of the environment. The module consists of the following sub-modules. 1. The concept of the environment. 2nd, the meaning of environment. 3rd, the definition of the environment. 4th, the nature of environment. 5th, the component of environment. The concept of environment. The concept of environment was best explained by the word Paryavaran, meaning something that envelopes us. Some Indian literature of olden times especially mentioned about worship of plants, trees, Mother Earth, sky, air, water and animals. As a philosophy of life, it has been considered as the duty of mankind to protect the nature. Atharva Veda considers earth to be the mother and the other creations are its offsprings. Man has thus no right to destroy the valuable creation of God. Respect of nature, environmental harmony and conservation through trees, animals, hills, mountains and rivers are worshipped as symbols of gods and goddesses. Representing nature has been emphasized in ancient scriptures like Vedas, Upanishads, Smritis, Puranas, Mahabharata, Gita, Bible and the Holy Quran, Guru Granth Sahib and mythological literature. Those are full of revelations of idea of harmony with nature and respect of nature. All the religions text preach about the importance of natural world. Now let us discuss about the meaning of environment. The word environment is derived from the French word environ. The meaning of the French word is somewhat related to encompass, encircle, etc. It is believed to have been introduced into the subject by biologist Jacob van Ercole in the early 1900s. Environment is a complex of many variables which surrounds man as well as the living organisms. The dictionary meaning of the word environment is a surrounding, external conditions influencing development of growth of people, animals or plants, living or working conditions, etc. This involves three questions: what is surrounded, by what surrounded and where is surrounded. The answer to the first question is living object in general and man in particular. If a man taken to be surrounded, physical attributes becomes the answer to the second question, which becomes environment, and where surrounded is the space or habitat. Environment refers to the sum total of conditions which surround man at a given point in space and time. In the beginning, the environment of early man consisted on only physical aspect of the planet Earth, that is land, water and air and biotic communities, but with the march of time and advancement of society, man extended his environment through his social, economic and political functions. There are a lot of definitions for the word environment in the literal and scientific context, but the most acceptable definitions can be given as below. 1. Environment can be defined as the natural surroundings of that organisms which directly or indirectly influence the growth and development of organisms. Second, The environment is defined as the surroundings in which an organization operates, including air, water, land and natural resources, flora and fauna, humans and their interrelationship. Third definition says, environment is the sum total of all living and non-living factors that compass the surroundings of man. Environment is defined as follows. Literally, environment means the surrounding external conditions influencing development or growth of people, animal or plants, living or working conditions, etc. This involves three questions. What surrounded? The answer to this question is living objects in general and man in particular. By what surrounded? The physical attributes are the answer to this question, which becomes environment. Hence, environment refers to the sum total of condition which surrounds point in space and time. The scope of the term environment has been changing and widening by the passage of time. In the primitive age, the environment consisted of only physical aspects of the planet Earth, land, air and water as biological communities. As the time passed on, man extended his environment through his social, economic and political functions. Third question is where surrounded? The answer to this question is in nature, that physical component of the planet Earth, namely land, air, water, etc., support and affect life in the biosphere. According to Gode, environment is the representative of physical components of the earth wherein man is an important factor affecting the environment. Next is definitions of environment. Some important definitions of environment are as under. According to Boring, a person's environment consists of the sum total of the stimulation which he receives from his conception until his death. It can be concluded from the above definition that environment comprises various types of forces such as physical, intellectual, economic, political, cultural, social, moral and emotional. Environment is the sum total of all the external forces, influences and conditions which affect the life, nature, behavior and the growth, development and maturation of living organism. Douglas and Holland says that the term environment is used to describe in the aggregate all the external forces, influences and conditions which affect the life, nature, behavior and the growth, development and maturity of living organisms. Environment is defined more comprehensively by others as a holistic view of the world as it functions at any point of time with a multitude of spatial, elemental and socio-economic systems distinguished by quality, attributes of space and mode of behavior of abiotic and biotic forms. In fact, environment is viewed in different ways with different angles by different groups of people, but it may be safely argued that environment is an inseparable whole and is constituted by the interacting systems constituted by the systems of physical, biological and cultural elements which are interlinked individually as well as collectively in myriad ways. Physical elements which include space, landforms, water bodies, climate, soil, rocks and minerals determine the variable character of the human habitat, its opportunities as well as limitations. Biological elements, the food we eat, water we drink and resources we draw from the environment to support our economy. Next, let us discuss about the nature of environment. Environment is a condition where all living beings can live happily and a place where we can take fresh breath and with natural beauty. Environment refers to the physical and social conditions in which people live, especially as it influences their feelings and development. Environment can be defined as the complex set of physical, chemical, biological factors and social factors in which a living organism or community exists. This includes factors which operate like air, water, land, natural resources, flora, fauna, human and interrelationships. Environment provides happy home. The totality of surrounding conditions and circumstances affect growth and development, atmosphere and ambience, happiness and quality of life. This result into survival, growth, development and quality of life in general. The social environment of any individual refers to his culture, family life, people, institutions and others with whom the person interacts. Children need a happy home environment. A well-planned modern factory needs to offer a pleasant working environment. People need to survive, hence they need clean water, air and unpolluted space. Therefore, we can create certain beautiful environmental conditions and we need to preserve the natural environmental conditions. The scientific study of the pattern of relationships of plants, animals and people to each other and their surroundings refer to ecology. In addition to the physical science including energetic, biogeochemical, cycling and earth science in general, now more than ever we have to consider humans and the social sciences as part of the environment. So, now we have a new discipline of ecology, that is a three-way interface. Today, everything outside a person affecting him is considered as environment. Environment is a generator. Creation of life form is because of environment. Sun, moon, sea, earth, hot, cold, forests, deserts, etc. They are together made an environment that is fit for our existence. There are two different environments. One is positive and the other one is negative. Life forms in both, namely pests, insects and others are cold-blooded, have different conditions which suits them to survive that may not be suitable to us. Both have own identities. Most important factor is that negative, positive factors have to join together to form an environment. For example, mother, father, for birth of a child, negative, positive of energy for electricity. In the system of environment, both have integral role to play. Where negative dominates, outlines its system, and where positive dominates, forms its own environment which motivates to react. We are miserable when are in desert and delighted when we are in lush garden. In a hospital, we are in different mood, and in disco we are in different mood. Environment motivates us to change our mood and reaction is in accordance. We also generate alter environment in our surroundings by our practice. Depends on the behavior of the individuals. Positive thinkers have positive feelings and negative thinkers, it is negative. Creates environment accordingly. This process turns to evolutionary system when a group of people have same thinking that initiates other to follow. Human lust and excessive usage of natural wood causing deforestation, pollution, heating temperature is negative environment for us. Now let us discuss about the components of environment. The environmental studies enlighten us about the importance of protection, conservation of our indiscriminate release of pollution into the environment. At present, a great number of environment issues have grown in size and complexity day by day, threatening the survival of mankind on earth. It is important to know more about the environment to make the public aware of the formidable consequences of the environmental degradation if not retorted, and reformative measures undertaken would result in the extinction of life. We are facing various environmental challenges. It is thus imperative to study the details about the different aspects of the environment so that proper management of environmental resources may be made possible. Environment consists of three basic components. One, abiotic components. Second, biotic components. Third, energy components. Abiotic components are inorganic or physical component of the biosphere or the ecosystem represents physical environment. This component includes the atmosphere, the lithosphere and the hydrosphere. Generally, these are considered as land, air and water respectively. The second important component is biotic component. The biotic component comprises plant, animal and microorganism. Thus, the biotic environment may be divided into floral environment and faunal environment. All the organisms work to form their social groups and organization at several levels and thus are formed social environment in the organisms work to derive matter from the physical environment for their sustenance and development. This process generates economic environment. Third important component is energy components. Energy is the primary and most universal measures of all kinds of work by human beings and nature. Everything what happens in the world is the expression of flow of energy in one of its forms. Energy components include solar energy and geothermal energy. Let me recapitulate the episode like this. Environment is a comprehensive term which in general refers to surroundings. It includes abiotic, that is physical, land, air and water, and biotic, plants and animals, that include man and his several functions and organization and institution are the important components of the life supporting layer of the biosphere. The earth is the only known planet having different kinds of life forms wherein there are complex sets of interrelationships between the physical and biological components. Various linkages between physical and biological components at different levels maintain the unity of the biospheric ecosystem. The life layer of the earth having atmospheric, lithospheric and hydrospheric components which is responsible for the support of all types of life is characterized by the operation of several physical biological process, mutual interaction and interdependence of abiotic and biotic components. Human beings are endowed by nature to be reflective and active. Their biological evolution gives them capacity to forage, tools and establish an adaptive relationship with nature. The natural resources in the form of matter and energy are of vital significance for the successful survival of all types of life on the planet Earth in general and for human beings in particular. In fact, all aspects of human society, that is social, cultural, political and economic, depend on resources. Therefore, the meaning, classification, assessment and evaluation, uses and abuses, conservation and management of all sorts of resources, their natural and cultural, renewable or non-renewable, are very significant aspect of environment.